see a good crowd here. My name is Brendan McGinn, so you're all very, very welcome. Thank you for joining. And just a couple of things before I introduce Maria. I'll give a brief background on family enrichment. For those of you who are not familiar with it, family enrichment is a satellite of IAAFD, which is an International Federation for Family Development, which operates currently in over 65 countries in conjunction with the UN. It's a non-governmental, independent and not-for-profit organisation aiming to provide support for families through training and parenting. Tonight we have Maria Kemp. Maria has agreed to coordinate this introductory information session, and she will be available over the next number of weeks when we start the taster sessions. Maria is a lawyer and a journalist by profession. Don't hold that against her. We're here to hear about her experience working with parents in many different countries. She's a founding member of Smart Home Management and has over 10 years experience as a marriage counsellor and has been a moderator of family enrichment for the past 6 years. And Maria has also recently completed an Open University Honours in Philosophy and Theology. So final item, just a bit of housekeeping. We do aim to finish on time at 9 o'clock. The format will be Maria will speak, give a background to everybody on family enrichment. We'll finish with a Q&A. We're going to record the talk from Maria, just so everybody's comfortable. We will end the recording after Maria finishes, so any Q&A or feedback from parents and couples will not be recorded. And so with that, I will hand over now to Maria. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan, and thank you for having me. It's very exciting, actually. I keep seeing the names popping in, joining. So I'm sorry I can't see you all in my screen because my computer is playing up. So having said that, can't hear me properly or I started speaking really fast, please raise your hand and let me know, because when I get excited, I go on the faster mode. And definitely IFFD courses excite me very much. I think we go to the point. What is so special about family enrichment and the courses and how they work? I think the most important thing is that the objective of them is to empower the couple. It's not to tell us what to do. I think as parents, whenever you read a parenting book, and I have read a fair amount, there is always a slight style or a slight tone in the books where they just tell you, you should be doing this because your child should be doing that. Which, as a parent myself, sometimes I have found helpful, but other times I have found very, very stressful. And I learned over the years to become objective and to just separate what the ideas I like from an author and to drop the rest. But the difference is when you do a course with IFFD is that they don't tell you what to do. They just tell you whatever it is that you want to do or to transmit to your children together, we will give you the tools to do that successfully. And that as a parent is super liberating and is very unifying because you work together. It's not because one of us has read something that the other one has to do it without being allowed to express an opinion in favor or against it. But is that we both stop and think together, what is it that we would like to transmit to our children, and that we are given the tools to create a system that makes us be a little bit less emotional, a little bit more objective, enjoy our children, and therefore be a lot more positive about our family life. The way we have the learning approach, the way it's run is in courses, and those courses are organized in 5 study cases. The courses run following the different age groups, and those 5 cases represent 5 key challenges that parents could think about in order to create that system they want to put in place to transmit the values they want to for their children. So the courses run, for example, not to 4-year-olds, 5 to 7 years olds, 8 to 10, and then pre-teens, teens. Later on, they even go for young single professionals and the marriage couple, not because the couples are in trouble, but mainly to make good couples great and to enjoy each other and family life better. So it's not, they are focused on that way. The key aspects therefore change because in different ages, there are different challenges. For example, in 0 to 4, you're going to have perhaps the problem of how do I assert discipline with younger children? Do I just hit them in the head with a piece of wood, or do I implement the naughty corner or the naughty step, or do I talk to them and reason with them, or what do I do? But with teenagers, it's perhaps more a communication and respect and boundaries. With little ones, it will be completely different. So that's the reason why the courses are divided in age groups, and each age group has 5 aspects. How does the actual course run? How does the study case run? It's 1 case per month. Each case requires 2 meetings. And why is that? So it might seem slow because it requires therefore a commitment of 5 months. The truth is that IFFD is extremely respectful of the actual family life and the running of a home. And we all know as parents that no matter how great the idea you have heard and how great your intentions to put something into practice, you can't change everything in your home all at once. So by giving one month per case, it allows the couple to slowly implement that thing that they have agreed will be great to do in the home. So there is no rushing, there is no trying to change the family to be what is not. It's just simply improving that family life so that we all learn to know each other better, love each other better, and enjoy each other's time better. So what do we do for the first meeting? Once you're signed up to do the 5 cases, you get them through your email, you get the booklet, and they tell you the first case will be in such a date, and they'll describe the steps. Okay, so the first thing is to read the case by yourself. This can be done anywhere where you can find 5 minutes. I've done it commuting back from work, sitting in the train. I've done it sitting in the car next to my husband driving somewhere. I have done it just one evening at home, trying to concentrate while the TV was on in the background with the little ones. The point is that you just simply read it because the case is a normal family event. Some of the things are a tiny little bit perhaps more extreme in order to point out, to think about it, but it aims to represent just a normal family day. So what does that mean? That when you read it for yourself, the first thing you do is you meet this family as if they were friends of yours. You imagine yourself that perhaps you're in a coffee shop and a friend of yours is telling you, you won't believe what happened to me last Saturday. It tells you the story. So that's the first thing. You just read it. Then if you have time, it's great to discuss it as a couple. And why do I say if you have time? Because I have to confess that after so many years involved, still my husband and I mostly discuss the case in the car on the way to the meeting. But that's okay. That is, I think, what happens with family life. So you discuss it together and you just and learn to hear each other out. You know, it is so enriching because when we read something, we actually perceive different aspects of the situation. And nor one thing nor the other is wrong. It's just that together we actually complete the picture. So it is a fantastic method in order to allow each other to speak. And if you learn to do it, then when things happen in your actual home, that is one of the empowering methods of IFFD, is that you learn to discuss it without throwing it at each other's faces. It's not a matter of opinion, it's just objectively what happened. And that is very liberating when you manage to get emotions out of family life and you can just start working together on the solution. And then if the virus is finished, you meet in a small group. And what do you do in that small group? You meet with 4 to 6 other couples. Usually the small groups are arranged either because geographically you're close to each other, because you have similarities in the ages of your children, or if you do it by Zoom, simply because they're going to divide you into different rooms so that you can enrich each other. And the point of that discussion is it's simply to say, do you think it's normal what happened in this case? And would you have reacted that way? Or do you know anyone who would have reacted that way? What does that achieve? First of all, I think as parents, one of the most refreshing experiences I've ever had was when I learned to differentiate what is normal at that age group and what should I worry about. And that's what happens in a small group, because you make friends with parents of children of the same age. It's a small group. Of course, it's agreed that nothing leaves that room, so you can freely talk about the case, about your opinions. There is no judgments. You can have an opinion and think, oh, the father in that case is absolutely horrible, or the mother is a complete extreme, or they are fantastic, or there is no judgment in your opinion. There is just enriching each other with our personal experience of our family life. So after that small meeting comes what we call the second meeting, or the moderators meeting. So in that second meeting, hopefully it shouldn't be more than 1 hour, an hour and 15 maybe for questions and answers. All the small groups come together, and a moderator who is an expert will moderate the session. What does that mean? There is a method IFFD does in order to help parents become those objective, sort of participants of family life that are objective and not run by emotional responses, that are proactive rather than reactive, and is analyzing the situation. So the moderator goes quickly through what is the situation, who are our friends in that case, meaning who are the protagonists, and what happened. And then he goes into, okay, what do you think in this case are the problems? And you will hear all kinds of different points of view. It's incredible, it's so enriching, because everyone thinks different things are a problem. Sometimes everyone agrees, but other times someone might think that a specific aspect is a problem when someone else isn't. I think the funniest thing I've ever had was having done a case in London and did the same case in Russia. It was about university students, and they had to choose about their career paths. And in the case, the boy kept saying, oh, I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. In Russia, that is apparently, they told me, oh, but this just doesn't exist, because work is absolutely fundamental. So it's not a question of feeling. It doesn't matter if you don't like it, you just have to work. So in London, the representation of the case saying, I don't feel it, was unanimously a huge problem. You shouldn't do a job you don't feel you want to do. So it's a very interesting way of looking at things and learning to look at the problems with everyone's eyes on them. And then the group suggests different solutions, and afterwards the moderator, who is been reading and been trained on that particular topic, will give just some guidelines or food for thought for the couple to discuss. Comes then the most important part of our courses, which is that after the moderators meeting, husband and wife, either because they go out for a drink or they go out for dinner, or because on the way home they discuss it, you then think about what's happened in the case, think about everything you have heard, think about the pointers that will be helpful in those situations, and you and your wife decide, okay, if this were to happen in our home, this is what I would like to do. And therefore, in this topic, in this specific area that is going to happen at this age group, we are totally prepared because we both agree this is the way we are going to handle it. And to me, that is the best thing about the courses. That half an hour after the case, husband and wife, to just be totally united. And then the children find this unity, this sort of wall, this strength in the parents that fills them with self-confidence, because no matter how hard they try to break the wall or try to divide mom and dad, they can't. And it's their job to try it, to break the wall, but it is our job to fill them with the confidence that no matter what, that wall is secure because we have discussed it. So that's what happens after the mentors meeting. And then the last slide, it just simply suggests, are you interested in trying it out? Would you like a taster session? What does that mean? Well, in taking advantage of the fact that now we can all do it in the computers and it's easy, we don't have to leave the house. We have tried it out in England, and I think it'll be great in Ireland to introduce the courses and to see if you like this kind of method based on case studies and meeting other families. What we have done is a taster session that it means you sign up so that the organizers have the list of all those who want to be participants. And then a date is chosen, is Monday the 20th of July, and you join the meeting, I suppose at 8 o'clock, and the first 45 minutes you are put into different Zoom meeting rooms so that you're going to have your small group. Prior to this meeting, you will be sent the case in advance to be able to read it. But always, always, always relax. If you haven't had time to read it, don't worry. The case, in the small meetings, there is always 5 minutes to just read the case. So that small meeting, because no one had to travel and you are all together at once, will last about half an hour. You can just discuss your opinions about the family in the case and what they have done right, or if there are any problems or whatever. And then after that, with a 2-minute break, then we do the moderator session online. So all the rooms join into one, and the moderator will be there to do a session. It's not, of course, it's not as great as being all together physically, but it has worked. It has worked internationally, and it has worked in the UK. We have, internationally, they did it with a participation of about, I think it was 24 countries. And in the UK, we've done it in a geographical area where there was a course running, and we just did a case online. And it was really successful. People really enjoyed it. It loses a little bit that natural momentum that you have in a room of being able to express your opinion straight away, because you have to wait your turn in Zoom. But it really does work. And it's a great way of having a taste of, is this a course that will help my family life? Have my wife and I enjoyed it? And will we like to do it for real later on? So with that, I hope I haven't rushed you. Please ask me any questions you may have.